Naturally, the buddies sat together. This group began to plan a study of the United Nations. To bring home to the children that many nations were represented in their community, the teacher invited parents and their friends to talk about their native homelands. Jacqueline's mother was born in Austria. One mother had come from the British West Indies. Michael's mother talked about Israel. Another parent talked to the children about the customs of old Greece. Naturally, children are interested in children. They studied in detail UNICEF, the United Nations Children's Fund. The children learned too that since wars begin in the minds of men, hatred and prejudice must be removed from the minds of men if ever there is to be real peace on earth. A committee of children went to the District Audiovisual Center for a film on how UNICEF helps children in the world. This library, organized and run entirely by parents, became an important factor in developing intercultural understanding. The child of a native Korean came to tell them the many ways in which Korean children had been helped by UNICEF. Parents were welcome at every intervisitation session. Many came. Pictures of the United Nations became realities the day the children visited the United Nations. The guide, a native of Madras, India, showed the children a map of the world and told them how the nations of the earth meet as friends and work through the United Nations to develop the understanding and cooperation necessary to promote and assure peace. They shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. At lunch, parents, teachers, and children discussed their visit to the United Nations.
Now I can understand. The United Nations makes friends of all the nations in the world by having delegates meet and talk things over, just the way we became friends by our classes coming together.
Our classes wrote poems and stories about the United Nations. I am so glad that my poem was picked for the class book. UNICEF helps people. It nurses and feeds the world's children and mothers in all the nations of the world. It's our big brother. Won't you help UNICEF?
The children of both schools held a small bazaar. They wanted to raise money to be used for less fortunate children of other lands. The programs carried out in the 12 other schools all emphasized ideals of human behavior in intercultural relations. One paired group studied housing and what citizens can do to eliminate slums and to build modern housing open to all races, creeds, and nationalities. The study of civics and good citizenship in a paired 6th grade made the children undertake a cleanup drive. They interviewed shopkeepers and civic leaders to win their cooperation in arousing folks to clean up their neighborhoods. They held school forums to get all the children, parents, and community leaders to participate. The children learned that persons of every race and every nation create great music. They heard Helen Hagen, an accomplished pianist who lives in our community, play. When the children studied music together, they learned to respect one another's abilities. The dance served to develop friendship and understanding in another paired group. Phyllis Murphy, the Juilliard ballerina, told the children about great dancers of many nations. She delighted them by a demonstration of the modern dance and gave them a short lesson on the ballet. The children studied folk dancing, and a Scotch child demonstrated the sword dance, and another child showed an American favorite, the tap dance. Learning from each other strengthened friendships. Art, emphasizing ceramics, was the program for a third grade paired group. At the museum, the teachers pointed out that the variety and novelty of the artists' creations resulted from differences in their national cultures. The children learned to admire one another's special abilities. Affectionate understanding grew. What the children were taught in the intervisitation program was expressed in a poem written by a principal in this district. Raleigh and Leslie recited this poem when an official of UNICEF accepted their gift for children in foreign lands.
How is it found, this brotherhood we seek?
Not in the differences that pride has stored and padlocked in the meager mind, the weak distinctions that the eyes and ears record.
Not in the scornful lip, the scoffing word, nor even in the shrug of unconcern, nor yet in twisted legends age has heard, and iterate that youth believe in turn. How found except in likenesses we learn, through love of each for each, as we recall the oneness of the fatherhood of all.
During the entire intervisitation program, all parents had been working together. They had attended the children's classes, gone on trips with them, taken part in discussions with children, with educators, and among themselves. They had met socially, and many friendships were formed. Flimsy barriers sustained by ignorant prejudice were broken down. Leslie's and Raleigh's group organized an international tea in the school library for all those who had participated in the program. The children served the tea. The members of the community committee were honored guests, as were members of the education committee of the American Association for the United Nations. Among the honored guests were the parents who now understood the significance which this intercultural program held, not only for their children, but for themselves. Leslie's mother was deeply moved to express her feelings and asked whether she might not say how she felt about the intervisitation program.
When this project started, I had serious doubts. I thought it would be dangerous, or, at best, all talk. But I am grateful that my little girl has had this opportunity to work and play and talk with children who at first seemed different from herself. It has been an experience that my husband and I consider a spiritual adventure. It has brought our family closer to the grandeur of God through learning to know the heights to which all men can rise, whatever their nationality, color, or creed, so long as they have sympathetic encouragement to achieve the best that is in them. I think our children understand what we mean when we say the oneness of the fatherhood of all.
Abraham Lincoln said, "A house divided against itself cannot stand." Thomas Jefferson said, "All men are created equal." George Washington said, "The government of the United States gives to bigotry no sanction, to persecution no assistance." Friends, let us too keep the faith. Let us break bread together.